Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today on this rainy Monday. It's raining outside, and it's like, the weekend goes by so fast, guys. Too quick. But it's Monday. I'm here, and thank you all for the for subscribing to the channel and for the comments and just showing up. I really appreciate this. And thank you for being here. What that says to me is that these messages are resonating with you. And that's a good thing, guys, because the messages here, I'm hoping that you hear something that resonates with you and perhaps you can apply it within your own circumstances that you may be currently going through. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a social worker or a counselor. I'm just someone who's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, too many, guys, too many to count, um, to the extreme, where I had to take a time out to heal, do a lot of healing, soul searching, and work. And I talk about what I went through, how I became an overcomer, how I reached out to God to help me as I did the work. And not only did I reach out to God, I made some vows that I keep to this very day. And because of that, God has been taking steps behind the scene, two, three, four steps as I take steps. People may not believe that, but I see proof and proof of it, irrefutable proof of it weekly. And like I said, the work has not been easy, but it's well worth it. And I'm going to talk to you guys about some ways how I did it. And, day by day in different videos. We're going to talk about it. And please keep showing up. Even if you can't be here on live, show up, subscribe to the channel. Let me hear your comments and invite others here so that they can hear the message as well. So, guys, with that being said, the topic of discussion today is envy, hate, and healing. Envy, hate, and healing is what we're going to talk about today. I know it's somewhat of an intense topic, but it's what's going on in this world today. So, the, the sooner we address these things and talk about it and find some ways to get through it, it helps us with the pain. Because remember, the pain will keep us stuck and stagnated if we let it lie within us. So we have to find some creative ways as an outlet to release that pain so we can be free of it and we can heal. Sometimes people, God, will allow things to be torn down in order to rebuild again, especially if something was built on a false foundation. Just think about that for a minute. Ponder and think about that. And let's think about what's going on in the world today, which everything is in chaos, turmoil, and it's like a shit show at the circus for the moment. But sometimes things have to be torn down before it can, so that it can be rebuilt on a solid foundation, a solid ground. In a world we live in today, it's mostly spinning on misery, full of hate, drama, and division. Love definitely needs to be put back in the equation and on the table. We need love in a situation, love and light. Um, and my personal experiences, guys, with hate and envy always seem to be the key factor. Before I did the work to heal and had my awakening, I used to cry a lot, a whole lot, guys, about others who despised me without a justifiable cause, just because I'm a woman, just because I'm a woman of color, and I speak a certain way, I behave a certain way, and it just goes on and on and on and on. But what I had to learn is that no matter who, what, where, or why, I must always be my authentic self. And if this is how I am, this is it. I can remember just way back in school, just being different because I was this nerdy, skinny kid. When I graduated, guys, I think I was 91 pounds or something like that. And just really love to read. Maybe that's one reason I also became a writer as well and have some published books because I love to read. And I used to read a lot of Danielle Steele books with romance themes. And I would just curl up in a corner. And, in school, I love certain classes. And I used to get bullied a lot, because I was different. And then, I have siblings and I'm what you call the black sheep of the family because I don't behave and act like anybody else. So much so to the point that I used to hear Uncle say to me all the time, I don't think you're part of this family. I think you're adopted or something. You don't behave like us. And it used to make me feel small and insignificant for many, many years. And it was I just didn't fit in. It felt like, I don't know how to describe it, but those who have ever gone through what I'm talking about, exactly the feeling. And I just always felt misunderstood. There's a song from the 60s or 70s. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. That's how I felt all the time. And it was just a horrific feeling, and just sadness and loneliness. And then just and then the thing that will always bother me is having siblings who was always jealous of me, but they were the ones who got the phone calls. They were the ones who had the boyfriends. They were the ones who were the popular ones. Well, when I was considered the nerd, but they they were the popular ones, and I was just this black sheep over here in a corner. Oh, ignore her, she's weird, and it just used to hurt a lot. And when I did at some point as a teenager got a boyfriend, um, who I liked a lot at that particular time, we're going way back. Um, and one of my sisters started flirting with him, and I see we had this huge fight because of it. You have everything. And it just turned into something really ugly. I can remember we were fist fighting and broke my mother's lamp, and she went off on both of us. But it was just, yeah, because it's like it was a just really rough time in my life. And then growing up in a religious setting that I never agreed with because that's, what the family did. And I was a minor, and just being in an environment where I didn't fit in and it's like trying to put your foot in a shoe that doesn't fit. No matter how much you twist your foot inside and out of this shoe, it's never going to fit. And that's what I felt like I did the first half of my life. If anybody knows what I'm talking about or ever had that feeling, let me know in the comment category below. Um, so hate and envy has always been around me, even as a child. If it didn't come from the outside world, besides that, it definitely came from the family. Um, so before I did the work to heal, I used to cry a lot, guys. Curl up in a ball in a corner and cry a lot about, others despising me without a justifiable cause. Some folks in this world, what I've learned so far, some folks will love you while others will rate you, shake you, and hate you to their very core. And it doesn't have to be a justifiable reason. It's just because you are you. And some of us are different. We all are different, but we all are the same in particular ways, even though we're different. But for me, it just, I don't know. I'll give you an example. Over the weekend, I watched this Lifetime movie called Octomom. And this woman, just watch it, guys. She was so different. She wanted to have babies, but she didn't want to be married. She didn't want to be in a committed relationship. She just wanted to have this family. And I think it was a void within her because she was the only child. And as I watched the movie and saw this, people were hating on her because of all the kids. I think she started off with 6 and then she had 14 total. But the last set of kids she had wasn't her fault. Just watch the movie because I don't want to give away things. Um, and it just she talked. So after that, right? I recorded. Um, she After the movie went off, I recorded something from the week before because I had to be in bed. It was after hours where she talked about feeling different and, just wanting children to have a family. And I watched that as well over the weekend. And I said, I relate to what she's saying, because some of us in this world are different. And it's okay. It's okay. She didn't want the marriage. She didn't, she have these beautiful kids and she's content with that. And so there were some men on there who were talking about how they dated her, but it wasn't, some of them really liked her and stuff, but she didn't want that. And even to this day, she talks about not wanting that. She's fulfilled with her 14 kids. She's a grandmother. It goes on and on. And I said, some of us in this world are just different and perhaps just have a different purpose here in this world today. So, with that being said, guys, I said all that because I kind of understood that to a certain degree. And if I could have had more kids, I would have. I have one, um, actually could not have another one because I had a really bad C section. And if I was to have more, it could jeopardize my life or the life of the unborn child. So I decided not to. But I do understand. Um, So when it comes to like people who are different and who just march to a different beat of the drum, the hate seems to be intensified. That's my personal experience of it. Just hate in general, hating because I'm a woman of color, and I'm talking to women for a minute, even though men may be watching, is that when someone feels no matter how hard you work and you accomplish goals, you went to school, you did everything, and you have the credentials for whatever you do, right? Whatever specific career that you have. And someone doesn't want to see you have that career. They don't want to see you in that. And it's not about how um, hard you work or the credentials that you have. It's just because it's you and they don't want to see you have anything. And that to me is horrific, and that's where I see the hate comes into play. Um, because you're a woman, you're supposed to stay in your so-called place, you know. You're not supposed to be independent. You're supposed to have a man to do A, B, C, and D, and E, and F, and G. And we're in a world where that is becoming an old paradigm, an old way of living, like during my grandmother's time and etc. Because women today, many of us are independent, single moms, career oriented, and it's okay. And some of us may want a relationship and have one, or some of us just don't at the moment. And that's okay too, because the key factor is we have a choice. When someone, who was talking to me and he felt that way, and I said, this feels, not only does it feel uncomfortable, but it feels like they want to take your choices away. It's like being in an arranged marriage or something. You do what I tell you, you sit down, and, like the Stepford Wives I watched back in the late 80s, they were just programmed to do whatever the husband wanted them to do. That's an old paradigm and old way of thinking. And when I see that, I used to get really upset about it, but I just look at the person and I don't have words for it, and I just keep moving. But that's a form of hate as well. Envy. Envy is different, guys, from jealousy, because envy is a person don't want to see you have anything, no matter what your credentials are, no matter how hard you work to get it, and you did it the right way, and you build from the ground up. They don't care about that because it's you, and they don't want you to have it. And so I had to really go to God on this issue because I'm like, this is insanity. And when I first started my healing journey, I started making some vows to God. And as I did that, God started taking steps to help me as I took some steps to help myself. When someone has made a vow to God and someone insists on judging them, playing with them, toying with them, coming to their channel to look, lurk, see what they're doing so that they can try to sabotage it, that is so dangerous because God is involved here. This is not a one man show. And everything that I do, even before I get on, I'm in prayer. And, and not only am I in prayer, the toxicity, the negativity and things, I lift that up to God, so that I can stay focused on myself and my healing and to help others to do the same. And then to also fulfill the vows that I made. And now, when I talk to God and say, well, it's going to be difficult to fulfill the vows if A, B, C, and D keeps doing E, F, and G. And God definitely steps into the picture and does what he needs to put a stop to it. And I've seen irrefutable proof of this. This is not a game or a joke. Let that person fulfill their vow and purpose. If you don't like a person or like what they're doing, just stay in your lane. Let that person stay in their lane and do what they do. And you can stay away from them. Don't jump in and out of their channel to see what's going on, how you're going to block and stop them, because the toxicity is going to be lifted up to God. It's just like I talk about the student loan situation. When it's sold from A to B. A no longer own it. It's in the hands of B. So when this is transmuted to God, the toxicity is in God's hands. And so he's going to do what's necessary, especially when these things are unjustifiable. And that person is on a path really to help themselves and others and to fulfill their vow. That's a dangerous game to play. um, just leave that person alone. There's people in this world that we like and we get along with, and others we don't. You just don't bother with them. You don't try to shake up their world just because. So that's something to think about. So when you heal, I know for me, when you get on this journey to heal and you start doing the work, looking in the mirror and healing, you don't have time for the hate and the games and the toxicity. And what I had to do is set boundaries because I would never be able to get through the pain and heal and prayer and everything else if I didn't set those boundaries. Because people were stepping over them, pretending I didn't set boundaries, and et cetera and so forth, to the point so much so that I had to close doors, cut off, block, and delete. Is that there was no other choice because I had to stay focused on myself to heal and to, help others as well. You are focused when you are on a healing journey. You're focused on yourself, and that takes priority because our mental and physical health suffers when we go through a lot of traumatic experiences and things that are just overwhelming, and we need to heal. And crying is an outlet for it. It's not a sign of weakness. Therapy, which I encourage everyone, because that's step one where I started. Besides prayer and asking God to help you, I could never do this without God, guys. Never, ever, because this is a lot. Um, and every step of the way, God was there helping me. And it's okay if you have people who leave your life because they don't like the new you. One of the problems I was having is people from the past looking for the old Lisa. That Lisa doesn't exist anymore, because I have healed. And the way I was before, I'm not that way. The only thing that's the same is my generosity, my love to help other people, my love for God, and um, my ability to communicate better. But the old stuff of being subservient and, you know, putting my needs on a back shelf so that I can handle other people's needs, that Lisa is gone. She doesn't exist anymore. And they keep looking for that. And it doesn't exist anymore. And I don't act out a character as I usually do. Like I said, I tell people, I set boundaries, and then I keep it moving. And I stay in prayer and ask God when, some people just don't take no for an answer. And then I transmute to God so that I could stay focused. Remember, guys, you have to put yourself as a priority. Your physical and mental health is everything. And it may be uncomfortable at first. It may feel like the walls are closing in as you start making changes and setting boundaries. Because what I found out is people don't like boundaries, many of them. They want to come in whenever they want, do whatever they want, etc. And because they were doing that for far so long, that they were used to it. And I had to close doors, cut off, block, and delete. And you know, so that I could stay focused. You know, the other thing I had to do that was very important. I'm going to drink some tea, guys, because my throat is a little dry. One of the things that I did was with the healing process is to literally change my mindset from how I grew up, what I was taught, which a lot of these things were not really fully the truth. And I had to change my mindset to understand things from a different perspective so that I can heal, so that I can grow and evolve, and to just let go of ego situations, Like I used to get really mad when somebody cut me off while I'm driving or did this. I just let people go, just let them go. And I see things from a different perspective. One of the things I've learned so far is people, situation, and circumstances come into our lives for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And many of these things were unlearned lessons. And guys, when you don't learn a lesson a first time around, when it comes around a second, third, fourth time, it's worse than ever. It feels like fire that's burning hotter each time, because it may be a different person, different character, same scenario, but worse. So I try to learn these lessons as quickly as possible so I don't have to repeat these things. And then as I do this, those doors get closed, and then I can move towards new beginnings, because the old way of doing things, as you grow, heal, and evolve, you may do things differently now. And the people from your past may not understand who the new you are. And some of them may not be able to walk that same path with you because they haven't did the work to heal and evolve and grow. So sometimes they don't like boundaries, so you have to close the door. However, God will open up new doors, better situations, new people, who's going to support you, cheer you on, be there for you, motivate you as you do the work. Those are the type of people that you truly need to have in your life and on your side, because they're going to help you to grow. Even because there's times you're going to feel like nothing is moving, and you're going to get depressed or upset, and you have somebody right there supporting you and helping you and telling you you can do this. That's an awesome thing. So when those new doors open, walk through them. People, live your life to the fullest. Don't let the toxicity and the negativity and the drama that's going on right now stop you. Your mental and physical health is everything. Close the doors to toxicity. You can minimize it. We can't get rid of it 100% because it's around us everywhere, but we can minimize how much we take in of it. Like with the news, I only watch a little bit of it, maybe 7 minutes of it, and then I'm done with it. So I can know a little bit about what's going on. But I don't take in a lot. And do things to uplift you that makes you happy. Take time out every day for yourself. If it's an hour to yourself to do what you like, 2 hours, it will help you on this journey. Change your mindset by being around people who are uplifting, listening to uplifting videos, music, soft music, or things that will uplift you and help you to move forward and to stay focused, and set those boundaries, because people will try to overstep them, which can really hurt your focus. So please set those boundaries and let people know you need to take care of you first. It's so important. And let's continue to move forward. If you have a day where you don't feel well, it's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. The next day, get right back up and keep moving. It's like a baby learning to walk. They don't just get up and start walking. They walk, they fall down, they take a few more steps, fall down, but they know they're supposed to walk. So one day they keep trying and trying, and one day they walk without falling. That's how this journey is. And have people around you who's going to be there with you. That's so important. It's so important to be at peace. You will start to feel the self love. You want to self care, and then you start to feel that inner peace. And it's better to be at a place of peace instead of broken down into pieces. Learn to take your power back and to create good things in your life. It can be done one day and one step at a time. That's the message today, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Share this video with others. Show up to the channel for a new message every day, and let's keep this going. This is Lisa, always encouraging you and shedding love and light. Thank you all, and I'll see you again sometime tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel so that you will get a notification when I'm here. Thank you again. Bye for now.